If you are over 60, you have likely been told that a good night's sleep is just something that fades away as you get older. You've probably heard the same advice a dozen times. Keep the room cool, avoid screens, or cut the caffeine by noon. But what if I told you that your struggle to stay asleep has almost nothing to do with your bedroom environment or your bedtime rituals? There is a specific physical habit that most of us fall into the moment we crawl under the covers, a way of positioning your legs that seems completely natural and harmless. But in reality, this single, subconscious position is silently sabotaging your circulatory system, creating a traffic jam in your veins that pulls your body out of deep restorative sleep night after night. It's not insomnia, it's not anxiety. It is a mechanical issue with how your body manages fluid distribution during those critical hours when your brain is supposed to be healing itself. Most people try to fix this with medication, expensive pillows, or by simply accepting that they'll spend the 3 o'clock hours staring at the ceiling. But what if you could change the way your body rests by making one tiny gravity-based adjustment before you even drift off? In this video, we aren't talking about sleep hygiene. We are talking about basic physics. I am going to show you 3 specific leg positions that change how your blood moves while you're horizontal. These aren't complicated stretches, and they don't require any equipment or fitness levels. They are simple, structural shifts that tell your nervous system it's finally safe to shut down. If you feel like your legs are alert when they should be tired, or if you find yourself waking up at the same time every single night, keep watching, because by the time we finish this, you are going to understand exactly why your current sleeping position is working against your health, and how to flip the switch for a full, uninterrupted night of rest. I'm a physician, and my entire focus is on the intersection of cardiovascular health and the aging process. Over the years, I've sat down with thousands of men and women who all share the same frustration. They feel like their bodies have turned against them the moment the sun goes down. When you were 40, your body could handle a lot of stress. Your blood vessels were more elastic, your heart could navigate fluid shifts effortlessly, and if you stayed up a bit too late or ate something heavy, you bounced back. But after 60, the internal landscape changes. Your veins, which act like the plumbing of your body, lose some of their elasticity. They aren't broken, but they are less efficient at moving fluid back toward your heart once the day is over. This is why for many people the evening is when the trouble starts. You sit down in your favorite chair after dinner, and gravity does exactly what it is designed to do. It pulls fluid down into your lower extremities. By the time you climb into bed, your legs are essentially holding a reservoir of that day's fluid. When you lie flat, your body suddenly tries to dump that fluid back into your system. Your kidneys get the signal to work, your heart rate fluctuates, and your nervous system, which should be deep in a rest and digest state, is forced to deal with this sudden, unexpected internal shift. Before we go any further, I want to do something important. I want to know who is listening. Could you take 10 seconds and drop your city, state, or country in the comments section below? When I see where you're watching from, it helps me visualize the community I'm talking to and understand the different environments you're navigating. I read every one of these, and it helps me tailor my future advice to ensure it's relevant to the specific challenges you might be facing where you live. Now stay with me, because we need to look at what's happening in your bedroom, and why the most common, comfortable position you're sleeping in is actually the one keeping your body in a state of high alert. It's a shift that most people miss, and once you see the pattern, you'll never look at your bed the same way again. Let me tell you about a man named Arthur. Arthur is 72, a retired cabinet maker from Ohio. When he first came into my office, he brought a notebook, 3 pages of notes detailing every sleep aid he had tried. He had prescription sleeping pills, herbal teas that tasted like cedar chips, and an expensive mattress that promised the world. He was exhausted, not just from the lack of sleep, but from the feeling that his own body was failing him in a way he couldn't control. Arthur told me his nights followed a cruel, predictable rhythm. He would go to bed feeling sleepy, actually heavy-eyed. He'd fall asleep within 20 minutes, but every single night, without fail, he would jolt awake at 2:15 a.m. There was no sound. There was no nightmare. He just felt an intense, crawling restlessness in his shins. He described it as a static feeling, like he'd been plugged into an outlet. He would get up, pace the hallway, walk to the kitchen for a glass of water, and try to settle back down. But by then, his heart rate was up, his brain was firing, and the night was essentially over. What Arthur didn't realize was that he was falling into a trap that almost every senior I meet is unknowingly walking into. He was sleeping on his side, but he was tucking his legs up in a way that crunched his hip flexors and compressed the major veins in his groin. Think about that for a second. He was trying to be comfortable. He was curled up, protecting his chest, doing exactly what felt natural. But by curling his knees toward his chest, he was creating a physical blockage. He was essentially putting a kink in the garden hose that was supposed to be draining his legs while he slept. During the day, we stand, we walk, and we use our calf muscles to pump blood upward against gravity. But when we sleep, we lose that muscle pump action. If we are also physically curling our bodies in a way that restricts blood flow, we are trapping all that fluid and the byproducts of our daily metabolism in our lower limbs. Arthur's body wasn't failing him. His body was actually trying to protect him. It was waking him up because it sensed that internal pressure, that fluid buildup that couldn't drain because of his position. It was a cry for help that he interpreted as anxiety or insomnia. When Arthur finally changed his position, a simple adjustment that took 10 seconds, he stopped waking up at 2:15 a.m. He didn't need the pills anymore. He didn't need the expensive mattress. He just needed to understand that his position was the problem. To understand why this happens, we have to look at what your cardiovascular system is actually doing while you sleep. Your body doesn't just turn off when you hit the pillow. It transitions into a massive maintenance phase. It is busy repairing tissues, consolidating memories, and flushing out the cellular trash that builds up in your brain during the day. This entire process relies on one critical factor: steady, low-pressure blood flow. When you are younger, your veins have incredible structural integrity. They are like high-quality elastic bands that snap back into place, ensuring that even if you sleep in a slightly awkward position, your body can compensate. But as we reach our 60s and beyond, we experience a normal, age-related decline in vascular tone. The valves inside your veins, the tiny one-way gates that prevent blood from falling backward, start to become less efficient. Imagine it like a series of locks on a canal. When they are brand new, they seal perfectly, keeping the water moving in one direction. As they age, they might leak just a little bit. On their own, these tiny leaks aren't a big deal. But when you add the influence of gravity, which has been pulling fluid into your legs for 14 or 16 hours straight, those leaky locks start to matter. By the time you go to bed, your legs are holding a significant volume of extracellular fluid. If you lie down and assume a position that further compresses your veins, like curling your knees up high, or even sleeping on your back with your legs completely flat but unsupported, you are forcing your heart to work overtime to manage that fluid. Your heart is a pump. It wants to beat at a slow, resting rhythm. But when your body senses that surge of fluid returning to the core all at once, often called venous return, it triggers a sympathetic nervous system response. This is the fight-or-flight system waking up. Your body thinks, wait, we have a sudden pressure change. We need to stabilize. This is the hidden trigger for the 2:00 a.m. awakening. It's not an emotional problem. It is a fluid dynamics problem. Your body is trying to manage a volume shift that your circulatory system is struggling to process smoothly. If you don't give that fluid a path of least resistance to drain before you sleep, your heart has to fight the battle for you in the middle of the night. You feel this as restlessness, a heavy sensation in your calves, or that strange, unnameable urge to move your legs. It is your body telling you that the plumbing needs help. I need you to stop and really hear this, because it goes against everything you've been told about getting older. Most of us accept that as we age, our sleep will naturally become fragmented. We treat that 2 a.m. wake-up like it's a tax we have to pay for reaching our 60s or 70s. We think it's just how it is now. But here's the truth that very few people talk about. Fragmented sleep is not an inevitable symptom of aging. It is a symptom of a circulatory system that has been left to fend for itself. Think about your daytime habits. You probably try to eat well, maybe you take a walk, and you definitely try to avoid things that keep you awake. But you are ignoring the most powerful tool you have, your own anatomy. The secret that the medical industry often skips over is that your body is remarkably adaptable. Even if you have dealt with this for years, even if you feel like your sleep clock is permanently broken, your vascular system is still capable of responding to the right cues. It is not about having younger veins. It is about understanding how to use gravity to your advantage. We are about to move into the science of why this works, and then I am going to show you exactly how to do it. But before we get there, I want to pose a question to you. If you could change one thing about your nights, would it be falling asleep faster or staying asleep longer? The answer might surprise you, because the solution we are talking about actually helps with both. But understanding which one is your biggest struggle will change how you approach these leg positions. To understand why this shift works, we have to look at what science tells us about the relationship between body position and nocturnal physiology. A recent study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology examined the impact of venous return on the autonomic nervous system in older adults. The researchers found that when individuals spent even a short period of time with their legs elevated above heart level, there was a measurable, immediate shift in heart rate variability, a key indicator of how relaxed your nervous system actually is. Essentially, the study showed that when the body is in a neutral, supported position where gravity can assist venous return, the heart doesn't have to work as hard to maintain stable blood pressure. This allows the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest mode, to take over more effectively. When your nervous system is in this state, it essentially unlocks access to deeper stages of sleep, like REM and slow-wave sleep. Without this transition, the heart remains in a state of slightly higher exertion throughout the night. If you've ever felt like your heart is pounding or your breathing is shallow when you wake up in the middle of the night, that's your body struggling to find that state of balance. The researchers concluded that for aging populations, physical positioning is one of the most overlooked, non-pharmacological interventions for improving sleep quality. It's important to note that this isn't magic, it's physiology. By simply changing your orientation, you are reducing the work your heart has to do to move fluid back toward your core. This study confirmed that the participants who engaged in leg elevation for just a few minutes before sleep reported not only falling asleep faster, but also experiencing fewer micro-awakenings, those tiny, almost imperceptible moments where you wake up and have to shift your weight or readjust your covers. When you look at this data, the takeaway is clear. Your sleep isn't necessarily declining because of some mysterious internal clock malfunction. It's declining because we stop paying attention to the mechanics of our bodies. We focus on external solutions like white noise machines or blackout curtains, while our internal plumbing is still working against the clock. When you understand the science of your own circulation, you stop fighting your body and start working with it. You aren't just trying to sleep, you are setting the stage for your body to do what it is biologically programmed to do: recover. Now, let's move from theory into practice. I want to show you 3 positions that directly address the fluid buildup we've discussed. You don't need a gym, you don't need special equipment, and you don't need to be flexible. You only need a few minutes and a place to lie down. Position 1. The wall drain. This is the gold standard for venous return. Find a clear stretch of wall near your bed. Sit sideways, as close to the wall as you can get comfortably. Swing your legs up so your calves and heels rest against the vertical surface. Your back should be flat on the floor or the bed mattress. Your body forms an L shape. Let your arms rest out to your sides. If you feel a pull in your hamstrings, just bend your knees slightly. The goal isn't a stretch, the goal is elevation. Stay here for 3 minutes. You might feel a gentle tingling in your feet. That's just the fluid finally moving away. This position uses gravity to do all the heavy lifting your veins couldn't finish throughout the day. Position 2. The bedside wedge. If getting down to the floor is difficult, use your bed. You don't need a fancy wedge pillow. Take 2 firm bed pillows and stack them at the foot of your bed. Before you tuck yourself in for the night, lie on your back and rest your calves on those stacked pillows. Your feet should be slightly higher than your heart. Spend 3 to 5 minutes reading or listening to a podcast in this position. You are effectively pre-draining your legs before you commit to your side sleeping position for the night. Position 3. The side lying support. Many of us are side sleepers, but as we saw with Arthur, the wrong side-lying position can compress your veins. If you prefer your side, use a firm pillow between your knees and calves. The key is to keep your hips and knees aligned rather than having the top leg drop down and twist your lower back or hip. By keeping your legs parallel and supported, you keep the major veins in your groin open. This prevents that traffic jam from forming while you sleep. These aren't meant to be complicated, they are simple habits. Try the wall drain for 3 nights and pay attention to how your legs feel when you get into bed. You will likely notice that the alert sensation fades, replaced by a quiet, heavy feeling that tells you your nervous system is finally ready to enter deep sleep. You are training your body to release the day's pressure so you can actually rest. We have covered a lot today, but I want to leave you with one final thought. The goal of these positions isn't just to stop the 2 a.m. wake-ups. It is to reclaim your energy for the hours when you are actually awake. When you stop fighting your own physiology at night, you wake up with a different kind of clarity. You aren't just not tired, you are rested. If you commit to these small 3-minute adjustments, you will likely notice the change in your own body within the first week. You aren't changing your genetics, and you aren't fixing a broken clock. You are simply clearing the path for your body to perform the repair work it has been trying to do all along. Tonight, before you get into bed, I want you to try the wall drain. Set a 3-minute timer on your phone. Don't scroll, don't watch the news. Just lie there, breathe, and let gravity do the work. Treat it as a transition, a way to tell your nervous system that the day is officially done. If you can make that 3-minute window a permanent part of your bedtime routine, you will be surprised at how quickly your body stops waking you up in the middle of the night. If this video helped you see your sleep differently, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Next week, we are diving into a topic that is just as critical for your long-term health. The silent deficiency that most seniors miss, which is likely keeping your blood vessels from relaxing fully at night. It's a mineral that isn't talked about on most health shows, and the way it's usually suggested in supplements is actually the least effective way to absorb it. You won't want to miss that, especially after the foundation we've built here today. Thank you for trusting me with your health and for taking the time to invest in your own rest. I'm Dr. Carter, and I will see you in the next video. Sleep well.